Welcome back to Justice on this busy night of news. My next guest knows a thing or two about politics, war, and diplomacy. He's a retired U.S. Army lieutenant colonel and a former member of the U.S. House of Representatives. Fox News contributor Colonel Alan West joins me now. All right, good evening, Colonel. Thanks for being with us tonight. I assume you heard the president's speech?
Yes, I've heard many of the different points that came out from it. And I think, once again, if we're going to sit down and try to say that President Trump is a atypical type of president that's going to go out and give, like you said, a very dry type of campaign speech, that's not his mantra, and that's not the type of platform that he's going to try to use. But no one can take away from him that he has been able to do something in less than 18 months that the previous 24 years have not been able to do, and that's bring the leader of North Korea to a table.
Well, you know, given your military background, I mean, you see, I guess, or have a sense of this, you know, more than most of how serious this is with a guy who certainly appeared to have the capability of hitting a lot of America with his nuclear warheads on the ICBMs.
Well, absolutely. You know, I was stationed there in South Korea along the DMZ in the 2nd Infantry Division back in 1995. And at the time, that was his father that we were dealing with. And, of course, we continued on with the concessions to give him the food aid and monetary aid anytime he rattled sabers. But for the first time, we've had a president that pushed back. And we can argue about the type of rhetoric that he's used or what have you, but sometimes a bully needs to know that you'll stand up to him and you're willing to throw a punch. The most important thing is that Kim Jong-un knows that he cannot take the first offensive action because China has already said that they will not stand for that. So we do have a sense of a high ground and that we can continue to implement these sanctions which put a stranglehold on him, and I think that's what has brought him to the table. You
know, it's interesting, Colonel, you mentioned China. I think it was President Xi who said that he was going to be president for life, and President Trump made a comment joking about, you know, can you imagine, president for life? And everybody comes out and they dump on him as though he's serious about it. Why don't you take a listen?
I was joking, and I said, president for life, that sounds good. Maybe we're going to have to try it. Maybe we're going to... President for life. But I'm joking. And they knew everybody in the room was laughing. Everybody's having a great time. I'm joking about being president for life. A couple of them went back. Donald Trump, with his dictatorial attitude, now wants to be president for life. You know, straight. Fake news.
He doesn't get a break.
No, I tell you, you know, anything that President Trump does is going to be looked at with a very particular eye, a very mean and sarcastic view from the liberal progressive media, to include some people saying that even if he sits down at a peace table, it still could end up at war. But this past week, we just had a woman by the name of Elizabeth Bruenig wrote a commentary in the Washington Post about why America should try socialism. Well, we just finished trying it for the past 8 years. And Ms. Bruenig was not joking, but you would hope that she would have been.
Well, I think it certainly is a commentary on where the Democratic Party is going. But, you know, the president made it very clear that 2020 is in his sights. You know, it's not make America great again. It's going to be keep America great, exclamation point. But what do you think is going to happen? I mean, you were in Congress 2018. You know, it's the middle of the first term of a president. Not a good year generally.
Well, I think what you saw happen with Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, both of them delved into a very unpopular policy, and that was health care. And that is why they saw massive losses. But right now, when you listen to the Democrats, they are the party that stands for illegal immigration in sanctuary cities. That's not a winning issue. Bernie Sanders is out there talking about repealing the tax cut law. That is definitely not a winning issue if you want to take away the crumbs that you've just given to people. And if you look at restoring our military, you look at having a stronger foreign policy, why would we want to turn it over to a party that had us in a position of weakness? So I don't think they have a platform other than we hate Donald Trump and we want to impeach him.
Well, it's interesting because tonight he did renew a call to Congress to stop funding sanctuary cities, chain migration, and he hit the Dems tonight for obstructionism. You know, there is now the Department of Justice going after the mayor in California.
No, it's absolutely right. And of course, the president's going to be traveling out to California. Look, California is the petri dish for all of the progressive socialist policies that you want to see exported all across the United States of America. And, you know, me being here in Dallas, Texas, they have this mantra called Turn Texas Blue. Why would you want to turn Texas into anything except the economic successful engine that it is? Why would you want to have it look like California? Why would you compare the capital of Texas, Austin, Texas, to San Francisco? That's not a winning proposition.
All right. Colonel Allen West, always good to have you on Justice. Thanks for being with us tonight.
My pleasure, Justice. Thank you.
All right. She's